Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're going to take a brief look at Gambit. Well, it's not going to be very brief. Alright, but we're winding down to the end of the season, and I'm just finishing up some seasonal challenges. One of the things that I like to jump into towards the end of the season is Gambit, because you can finish all of the seasonal challenges in a brief amount of time. Now, I do still have a cold, so you guys have to excuse my voice. But I'm going to roll into this anyway. So I'm almost finished with the season pass, but I picked up some bounties. I finished quite a few of the Gambit challenges already. Okay, so auto rifle's almost done. Hand cannon scout. I don't know if I'm going to do this one, but this would be worth 150 bright dust. So that's nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, I can't say there's been complaints about Gambit. I just have to say the player pool has really dropped. Not a lot of people play Gambit anymore, according to Bungie. So I understand why. I was reading in the state of the game that they made some changes to Gambit last season, or the launch of Witch Queen, or the launch of Lightfall, I mean. But those changes really didn't make a difference. So I've been playing Gambit today. First, I ran through 3 matches with Hunter, then another 3 matches with Titan. And I know exactly how it can be fixed. It can definitely be fixed. But in short, I think that Bungie would have to limit the amount, well, I won't even say the amount of times, but the frequency of invaders. How many times can you be invaded? Or how frequently can you be invaded? And right now, the frequency is off the charts, which the invaders are usually pretty good for the most part. And once the invader starts getting 2, 3, maybe even 4 kills, it heals the primeval, and the team that you're on, you basically have to start from scratch as far as doing damage to the boss. So it makes the match entirely too long, too annoying. It's just aggravating that you can almost be finished, and then the next thing you know, invaders start coming in every 15, 20 seconds. And once you kill them, 15, 20 seconds later, they come back. Sometimes they kill 2, 3, 4 your team members, and you don't get ahead. There's no progress. There's always that interruption, and it gets to the point where I feel like you get to that point in a match where you just want to be left alone, right? For at least like 60 seconds. But yeah, that doesn't happen, especially if the other team, the team that you're playing against, is behind. So what I'm gonna do right now is I have Warlock that's left. I'm gonna run 3 matches with him and see if he runs into the same problems that Hunter and especially Titan ran into, in terms of being invaded too often, which really makes the matches a lot longer than they should be. Excuse me. What Bungie did say is that they were going to have less of these challenges for Gambit next season. And I honestly don't think that's the problem. I think it's just the invaders. They have to put, I would say, once the invader leaves or you kill the invader, you should at least get 60 seconds before the invader can jump back in. Um, it definitely doesn't feel like that, but I want to get just some gameplay recorded to see what happens. So this one, uh, defeat targets with special ammo. Okay. I think I only have 2 left. 3 left. Defeat targets with power weapons. Yeah, that's something I might not get done either. Yeah, so the last 3, I may not get these done. Because unless you have a really good auto rifle is okay. Hand cannon scout, unless you have something really good, it's gonna be difficult to get 100 kills. I'm thinking something with splash damage for both the hand cannon and the scout. For sure. But you guys can leave your thoughts in the comments below on whether you think Gambit can be saved, fixed, you know, that type of thing, or should Bungie just take it out of the game altogether? Because I mean, they've said themselves the player base is low, and players who do play it, like myself, veterans, um, we play it near the end of the season just to get the challenges out of the way, get the bright dusty XP, uh, but that's it. Because I'm definitely not gonna play enough to reset the reputation with Drifter. I'm gonna go to the tower, pick up some more bounties before I head out. And about new players, like it, would you even recommend to new players to play Gambit?
What's up, hero?
I don't know.
Be smart with this.
And for this season, sometimes the shader is okay for Gambit. But the last few seasons, I don't think we've had a shader that is worth going after. The armor is still the same as it's been for several months. Um, and as you can see here, the shader is just bad. This is not good, especially with what I'm wearing. So it doesn't fit my armor set. I don't think it'll fit any armor set. So there's really no incentive um, to play Gambit. I did get last right through Zavala and getting to rank 16 with the Vanguard. I tested out last right, but I really didn't care too much for it. But this is the most recent gear. Now this has the Witch Queen icon up here in the corner. It's not a bad gear set. It's just we've had this gear set for over a year. I believe. So, excuse me. It's not terrible, but it's not something that, you know, I see a lot of players, I don't see a lot of players running around with this on. It's decent. It's decent. So these are all the weapons. I would say bottom dollar is the only one that really jumps out at me, but I don't use hand cannons very much, and so I would say probably bottom dollar and trust jump out at me. But other than that, it's uh, yeah. All of these are interchangeable with something else that I could use for this, or I have a better option already. So I don't see an incentive now. The old gear, like this is the Legacy Armor 1. This is probably the best gear set for Gambit. And then once we switch to all three vendors for Strikes, Crucible, Gambit, once they all started having the same gear set, like the same model gear set, and just the color would change. Um, then it just seemed like there was a lot less personality, or something that made the gear unique. Um, yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Now the Legacy Armor 2 is probably the worst. This one's probably the best. And this is back when they were still creating gear pieces unique to all three vendors for the core activities. So this is the best one. This is actually a pretty good gear set. But again, it's so old and it kind of feels outdated at this point. But if you had to wear a gear set for Gambit, um, I would definitely go with this. Now the other thing too is that maybe they could do it like something similar to Iron Banner. If you wear the actual Iron Banner gear pieces, then there's extra perks on the gear that are very useful when you're playing in Iron Banner. So in Gambit, it could be the same thing for Strikes, for Crucible. It could be the same thing. Um, Put unique perks on the gear, even if it doesn't look great. Put some unique perks on it that only work in that activity, like Gambit, and that would be a really good incentive for players to wear these gear sets. Otherwise, if there's no extra benefit to it, it just depends on what a player wants to wear stylistically. So, and when it comes to that, I mean, even though Ancient Apocalypse is good, it's not near the top of any other gear sets that I would wear. So, yeah, I definitely think Bungie could add some intrinsic perks to the gear sets for the core activities. So the only one I can think of is Iron Banner and probably Trials of Osiris, I would say. Now they do put the Ascendant Shard here at after you complete rank 16, which is an incentive, but I've been getting so many enhancement prisms now that I don't need to grind through Gambit just to get this. There's easier, quicker ways for me to get Ascendant Shards.
Careful with that.
So I would say that's the other thing besides the invaders jumping in too frequently into Gambit. I would say put weapons intrinsic armor perks in Gambit that are not found anywhere else in the game, um, and help you get through the activity, a lot faster or more efficiently. Because players will definitely go after that. So it has to be something to chase, something that's unique about the gear, about the weapons. Um, Otherwise, again, there's no incentive. And then on top of that, Gambit being an annoying game mode, that doesn't help. And I think what they used to do years ago is all three vendors wouldn't get the same weapon for rank 16. So I do think that they should go back to having Crucible, Vanguard, Drifter. They all have their a unique weapon um, that's really good for that game mode. So again, and it can be used pretty well outside of that game mode, but for the most part, just be geared towards, okay, this is a weapon specially made for Gambit or for Crucible or for Strikes, Nightfall, that type thing. Um, and again, it creates an incentive for players to play that particular mode. Because, I mean, for me, I guess a perfect example is like, I'm not a PvP player, but I jumped into Trials of Osiris to get Shayura's Wrath because I heard the weapon is really good, and then when I did jump into Crucible, I was getting killed with this a lot, and so I figured, okay, I want that weapon now. Trials for me is a pain in the butt to play, so it took me a couple days to grind it out. Um, but I did get the weapon and drop, and then once I got the weapon, I was out. I haven't been back in trial since. But this was, you know, several months ago. But I got the weapon. It's still one of my favorites. But again, because the weapon was that good, it was an incentive for me to go into a game mode I really don't like to play at all, to be honest. So, all right. The other thing that I'm going to do. Excuse me. I'm leveling up my weapons still. Okay. So this is not my favorite machine gun, but I really wanted to get to level 16, and so I realized that after every Gambit match, even if you don't use the weapon a lot, as long as you have it equipped, it's going to get um, a huge bump in progression. So disparity is going to get close to 13. Um, Come to pass, it's going to get a lot of progress on level 8, and recurrent impact is going to get a lot of progress on level 14. So again, I'm trying to get all of my crafted weapons at least to level 16 to unlock all of the enhanced traits. So unlock all the traits on the weapon, and then I move on to the next thing. But for the most part, like I just got off stringer to 16, and so this is basically done, like in terms of having all of the perks unlocked on the weapon that's available for it. So I would go back to the Enclave and figure out, what combination of perks I want to put on here. But yeah, this is what I'm going with. And let's see, the other thing is too, I need a scout and a hand cannon. honest, the hand cannon one is a little rough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip that challenge and just stick with this one so I can get it. Um, get the level up on this one.
What you want to receive.
Let's get started. Good eye.
Okay, so one thing I think that changed this season is that a pinnacle does not drop here anymore. You get an exotic drop, but I wouldn't get too excited because the majority of the time it's not something that I want, and or the stat distribution is not good on it. So I'm not really that excited about getting a exotic drop on these core activities. Every now and again you'll get something useful, semi-useful, but I would say the majority of the time it's just something that you can throw in the vault, or you can use it for infusion. Or you'll just dismantle it. I really haven't had a hard time finding teams today. But I have been running into more, especially with Titan, running into more organized teams where the beginning of the match they will not really do anything. They'll probably collect some motes, but they won't put the motes in the bank. They'll just stack them, or not really do anything at all as far as collecting motes. And then once my team gets close to summoning the primeval, or we summon the primeval, then all of a sudden we start getting invaded like crazy. We start getting blockers like crazy. The large taking the Hive Knight blockers, it'll be 2-3 of them at a time. So the blockers will show up, then we'll get invaded, and everybody's running around because my team, we're not on mics, so we're not communicating. This is just through matchmaking. We're not communicating, and yeah, so our bank is just draining. Would just be draining, and we're getting picked off by the invader, and the next thing you know, the opposing team is ahead of us.
Scorn approaching.
But the opposing team hadn't done anything for most of the beginning of the match.
The fallen, the scorn have given up on a better life. Makes them dangerous.
But that's what happened on my Titan in one of the last couple of matches that I ran with him. So at this point, I'm wondering, is it going to be like that?
the moats, drop them in the bank.
Oh, we got Storm.
Incoming wave at the drill.
And somebody jumped out of the match. That's odd.
Hostiles incoming at the base.
The other team is kind of slow playing it, do you think? I'm gonna try to get 2 more modes. At least 2 more before I come back.
Portal's ready. Grab your gun. I spot a high-value target. Give them hell. Watch it. You're shedding moats. Kill the blockers. Hostiles inbound at the step. Medium blocker heading over.
Excuse me.
Yeah! High-value target eliminated. Portal's ready. Grab your gun. Almost time for a prime easy. Fill that bank up. Prime evil's here. Kill it and win this.
But look at the other team. You see the other team's moats? They got 33, but they're holding a bunch of them. So we're probably gonna get swarmed by large blockers. We get swarmed by large blockers and then we get invaded. But it's a little bit late this time around. Usually they do that like
Your enemy called up a prime evil. Finish this before they do.
So the strategy is supposed to be when you get invaded, or if you're getting invaded, do not kill the envoys. Because if you kill the envoys while you have an invader on the field, you're going to be wasting time that you're supposed to be in the damage phase of the boss.
Primeval compromised. Focus your fire.
So if you're fighting, if you're in the middle of defeating the envoys and you get invaded, I would say, stop attacking the envoys and focus on killing the invader first.
Ahead. Watch your back. Invader incoming.
Because you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose the damage phase time. I don't see him.
Envoy's dead. Kill the Primeval. Invader's gone. Get him next time.
Yeah, but now you see with the invader we lost all our progress.
Allies headed to the other side. You gained the lead.
The other thing is they put a shield on him, on the boss, so that we have to keep stopping to go and kill more envoys.
You're in the lead.
And see, we're getting invaded again.
Find them before they find
And that feels like, what, 30 seconds? A 30-second break we had?
your allies back. One kill.
And now we're back to square one.
Enemy invader is down. You can breathe.
We're right back to square one. So now we've been in this match for I don't know how long, and there's no damage to the boss. We're just killing
Allies headed to the other
envoys.
side.
Rinse and repeat.
Envoy's taking a dirt nap. Primeval time. Your invader's down. Nap is killed. You're in the lead. Take down that Primeval, and this Gambit's yours.
Did we just get invaded again? Oh, I thought I heard it.
Opposing team's about to win. The enemy team's about to win this. Get moving. Envoy's dead. Kill the Primeval.
I don't have any more
Fight's
super.
over. Opposing team killed their Primeval.
So for me, the match isn't supposed to be that long. I have no idea how much time the match is, because it doesn't give you how much time you were in the match. Like, it just doesn't give you. I didn't do too bad on damage, but I only got 11 modes, 35 combatants, 3 blockers. Okay, so let me just take a look at the weapon progress. Okay, so I didn't use this disparity at all. It jumped to 64%. I think come to pass jumped 40%. Recurrent 33%. I did pick up laser painter, but this is excuse me. I didn't realize this was in the game. Like this was in Gambit, but it's a strand linear fusion rifle. It's a very familiar model. We've had this model plenty of times before as far as the model of the weapon, but it's got strand on it now, except instead of void or arc. But yeah, it's got a different shader on it, well, slightly different shader, but other than that, it's really the same model, but it's got strand on it, so that's something. If you do want to reset the your reputation for drifter, it's going to take 10,000 points. And I would say just play Gambit like several times in a row to keep your streak up at 5, because your streak, like if all 5 nodes are filled, then that means that you're getting the most points possible whether you win or lose the match. But yeah, you're going to have to get to 10,000 points. And for heroic, there's a total of 375 points you need. But yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really concerned with resetting my rep, but with drifter. But I'll see how much XP I can gain. And I've completed quite a few challenges so far. I think the last 3, like I said, I don't think I'm going to worry about those. But if with your crafted weapons, it's like if you need to level the weapons up faster, this is one of the ways to do it. So you can get 2 things or multiple things done at the same time. I was going to suggest that you would have it that players would know where the invaders are instead of running around looking for them, but then that's kind of going against the whole point of having invaders jump in.
All right, all right, all right. Let's see what we've got. Cabal on the field. Let's be bad guys. Cabal weaponry didn't used to be all bluster and noise. Red Legion changed that. Prepare for transmat. Lock and load, hotshot. Get those moats to the bank. foe.
Oh gosh, I forgot. This will be better. If I can get to my menu. I was trying to get to 10.
Incoming at the gulch.
And I can't get to 10 to save my life.
Got eyes on a high-value target. Track it down. Moat's draining. The blockers must die, brother.
Dang it. Yeah, I'm hoping I don't get killed.
Hostiles incoming at the cavern. Vader inbound. Hunt. Hey, easy there. I think you got him.
Out of bullets. Lost all 15.
High-value target is down and out. Invader incoming. You're bleeding moats, brother! Whack the blockers! Hope they keep summoning the primeval. If they kill it, they win this. Portal's ready. Go say hello. Portal's up. Go look them in the eyes.
I ain't had no choice. I don't have any heavy
Incoming
ammo.
at the gulch. Large blockers set. Portal's ready. Grab your gun. Bank and you'll summon a primeval. You want to win? That's how. All right, you can still win this. Burn that primeval to the ground. Watch your back. Invader incoming. Enemy invader is down. You can breathe now.
It's close.
Envoys ate it. Now devour that prime evil. Devour that prime evil. The enemy team's about to win this. Get moving. Gambit's over. Opposing team put their prime evil on ice.
So okay, so that was 250 points towards rep. Yeah, I lost that first 15. I would have had 30. Typically, I would run with a different set of weapons, but like I say, right now I'm trying to level up these three. Yeah, see, so Recurrent should get to level 15. That should get to level 9. This one's a 13 easily. And I haven't used Disparity the entire time. Alright, so this will be the last run, because I only need 3 anyway. And then the bounties do not help you increase your reputation with the vendor. Now on Neomuna with Nimbus, they have Neomuna rank plus 20. This one's plus 50. But on the Gambit bounties, they don't have like any rank points that go towards your rep. So the additional bounties, they'll give you 10 bright dust per bounty that you complete. Or like I say before, they do help towards your XP, but I mean, other than that, I'm gonna switch back to Skyburners to get that bounty done, and then I'll switch back to Come to Pass. But really, like, even if they left the invaders as far as the frequency of them jumping in, the problem is there is no communication between your teammates when you're going through matchmaking. So when you start running into teams that are running co-op, like you'll have a team of friends or a team of, you know, players who know each other running together, most of the time they'll always defeat the teams that are just thrown in together through matchmaking. Because the team that you're jumping in with your friends or other people you play with,
Enough
you can
fooling around.
strategize. There's actual communication. You can get on mic and say, okay, everybody gather your motes.
You ever pull a gun off Vex arm? Don't bother.
You know, this is when I'm gonna jump in. This is when we're all gonna put our motes in. You can keep track of who has how many motes. Like if everybody's trying to get 15 to put in the bank at the same time. It's like all of that communication is good if you're actually communicating with the people that you're playing with. But if there is no communication, it's just you're fighting each other for motes. You're definitely fighting each other for motes, for sure. Which can be annoying because it's like, okay, I need one more mote, or I need a few more motes, and then everybody's trying to. It's like every person for themselves. That's really what it is. And so the lack of communication hurts this mode as well. Because if you really want to go through Gambit efficiently, I think that you would have a co-op team. A team of players that you know, and that you guys are on the same page as far as like how you want to run this. But yeah, everybody is just I thought he was gonna die.
Hostiles incoming at the cavern.
Oh, I should have got 15 right there. The other team is going kind of slow.
Hunt it down. Put some rounds in it.
I'm rushing here, but I need to. Yeah, the other team's not doing anything. They got 8 motes in the bank and they're not collecting anything. So now I'm worried that we're going to get blitzed. Because I think there's the catch-up mechanic. Like if the other team is really far behind, then they get to invade more often. Which is the thing that I usually run into. Where they're just kind of, like I was saying, the beginning of the match, the opposing team's not really doing much of anything. And then the next thing you know, you're just getting hit. And again, that was another situation where we're fighting for motes. Good night.
Do the Vanguard know you're this good? You should be running the place.
That was set up really good for me. Like, really well. Oh, like, this is going to be too easy. But look at the other team, though.
That'll take them a while to shoot. Almost. Bank and get that primeval out there. headed to the other side.
So I have a feeling that the other team is just taking their sweet time on purpose.
Your invaders down. They're
So I
coming
won't
back
be
to you.
surprised if we start getting invaded like crazy. And then sometimes you're just playing a bad team. I don't know which which this is gonna be. Alright, so I should have one. Okay, so now we get invaded. So it's like they don't do anything that entire time, and then we summon our primeval and we start getting invaded. And it's like that's the thing that drives me crazy. They're gonna start.
Invader down. You can relax. Enemy invader down.
They're gonna start invading us like crazy.
That primeval's compromised. Hit it with everything you've got.
I can't get. I can't stand in the fire and get the heavy ammo out of the crate. We're getting invaded
Invaders
again.
here. Brace yourself.
So yeah, this is what I don't like. And so now the other team is slowly coming back.
Enemy invader down. Hey, we can't
But look,
blame 'em
we're
for
right
trying.
back at square one. We're right back at square one. So they literally didn't do anything for the first half of the match. And here they come again.
Incoming.
So yeah, this is the problem that I was trying to, and they got whatever kind of rocket launcher that is. Yeah, we're stuck on the boss having full health.
Invader's gone. Get him next time.
So it just drags the match out for no good reason. So I would tell Bungie, like, you can't have players or teams. You can't have the opposing team take advantage of the catch-up mechanic like this. Another invader. What was that, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, I think? It was 30 seconds. They just jumping in with a rocket launcher
Now, bring
and
the
taking the
house
whole
down.
team out. Or, 2-3 players at the very least.
Hey, easy there. I think you got him.
So it just makes this aggravating because players are not, and the boss is on full health. So we've been sitting up here fighting the boss for I don't know how many minutes, but it's very annoying. And then the shield is gonna come back up soon.
Watch your back. Invader in.
Yeah, if you don't catch that invader, it's like we gonna lose all our progress. That's 2.
Enemy invader down.
We lost all of our progress just like that. That's the problem. That is a huge issue. So now I'm at the point where I'm tired. Like, I don't even care. I just want to get through the end of this match. Oh my goodness. But it perfectly illustrates, and then we're getting invaded again. That's what's wrong with this mode.
Enemy invader is down. You can breathe now.
And that time around, it might have been 60 seconds, but it's like now at this point, like, we're just, I think we're just tired. I'm tired. I think my team is tired. You just get tired of killing envoys. You do a little bit of damage on the boss. You get killed by the invader, and then it's you gotta do it all back over again. And we getting invaded again. So I'm not understanding, like, there's got to be a limit on the invasions. There has to be. Otherwise, you're not gonna get out of this match.
Invaders out. You'll get them next
You're not gonna get out of it. If you don't catch them right away, they are just gonna drag this thing out needlessly. And now they're up at 99.
You're being invaded.
And I'm late with the
Find them
bomb.
before they find you. Opposing team's got a prime evil. Kill yours now. You're in the lead.
And I was late with it. Darn.
Invaders gone. Get them next time.
Yeah. They took all that time to summon the primeval. There's no timer, there's no nothing. So it's at this point they're just stacking invader
That
kills.
primeval's compromised. Hit it with everything you've got.
That's all they're doing is stacking invader kills. And there's probably triumphs for that, for how many invader kills you get, or how many kills the invader gets. But it just...
Invaders here. Brace yourself.
He's all the way over there, and they're getting chased. And it's almost like they're not paying attention to, or at least looking for where the invader
Invaders
is.
gone. Get them next time. Allies headed to the other side.
He still haven't super back yet. They still got an ongoing.
Your allies down and out. They're heading back.
I would love to know how long this match has been already.
You're being invaded. Find them before they find you. Focus on the
See, and they
primeval.
eliminated the envoy before they killed the invader.
1 minute left. It's close. Invaders off the field.
Oh my goodness, and I don't have my super back yet.
That primeval's not long for this world. Burn it down. Take this game. You're in the lead, brother. You've got some moves.
How long was that match? Just time. How long was that match?
You fight like that every day? I don't ever want to see you go to war. There'd be no one left.
But that's the problem. I got first that time, barely. 38,000 on the boss. But that is the problem. That one match was drug out that long because the other team is intentionally waiting until we summon the primeval, and then they're just invade. And then my team, we can't communicate to say, okay, when we get invaded, don't kill the envoy because you're wasting the damage phase on the boss. Or you have some players, they're just not paying attention to what's going on around them. And even if they are, we're just getting caught, by really good invaders. But yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the heart of the problem is the too many of the teams that I'm going up against in Gambit are doing just that. They're just dilly-dallying, lollygagging the beginning of the match. They're using the catch-up mechanic to keep invading. They take their sweet time summoning their primeval, and then when they do summon their primeval finally after I don't know how many minutes, they just rip through the primeval for the most part and go on to the next match. And it just makes it really annoying. It makes it really annoying. So for me, it's safe to say for me, that's the last Gambit match I have for this season. The seasonal challenges that I wanted to get done, they are done now. So that's really all I wanted to do, is get those seasonal challenges done, get the XP, get the bright dust, and that's it. But in terms of, is it an easy fix? Absolutely. There has to be a timer. There has to be a timer on the match so that both teams will have to approach the beginning of the match the exact same way. And if you lollygag at the beginning of the match, you're not going to have time enough to win. Because the boss will, after a certain, because when you hit the damage phase, you kill the envoys, you hit the damage phase, there is a certain amount of time that you have to damage the boss, and then the shield automatically pops up. You have to kill the next set of envoys. So that would definitely help with the timer, or putting a timer on a match. Whoever's either killed the boss or taken the most damage, and it like damaged the boss the most, by the end of the time, if the time even runs out, then that team would win. But with no timer and the catch-up mechanic for the team that's far behind, you're going to have too many teams taking advantage of that. And I'm not sure why the developers didn't you know, I don't understand why they didn't know that was going to happen in the beginning, and I don't know why they're not seeing that right now. Like when they're reading data or whatever, when they do look at Gambit, that's the problem. So, man, yeah, that's the problem with it. Um, there's too many matches like that, and you have to reset your rank, your reputation with Drifter, just playing this one mode. Like, there is no variation of Gambit. It's just this. And then the private match, I don't know what this would be for. Unless it's like friends against friends, players against players. Like, everyone's intentionally going in there for a private match, but I've never jumped in there and played against anyone else. So with the Vanguard list, you do have either the standard playlist or the Nightfalls, and I usually run Nightfalls. And I've already reset my rep with Zavala, so I'm back at 0 as far as the reputation goes. I'm back on Guardian 1. And then with Crucible, again, there's several different modes besides the private match that players can choose from. So again, with Gambit, I really do think they have to do that as well, is have different modes of Gambit. Maybe even take the invaders out altogether in one mode and see if players like that. Like, who can kill the boss the fastest? You can still send blockers of, whether it's small, medium, large blockers. You can still do that. And then teams will be incentivized to always send a large blocker. And then if you send 2 blockers at one time, the bank can still get drained, but have a mode where you take the invaders out completely. And then this current mode of Gambit, I would say have invaders jump in a lot less. And also I would take out the catch-up mechanic. Like, if you're gonna drag and not really do anything at the beginning of the match, you're not gonna benefit from that, even if you are a really good team of invaders. So yeah, that's that's all I got. That's all I have. That's my suggestion to Bungie. It seems like a really easy fix to me. They don't have to add any maps. They don't have to add any enemies. Fix the invader problem. Fix the catch-up mechanic. Put a timer on it on the entire match. I would say it shouldn't go longer than 7-8 minutes for that. And what would a strike be? 9 minutes, 10 minutes? So Gambit should be about the same thing. And that's the other thing too, is like when you're running through strikes, you never run into a team who's trying to take their time running through the activity. But in Gambit, that's exactly what they do. They want to slow everything down, take their time, let the other team summon their primeval or just about summon their primeval, and then completely mess up the entire match the rest of the way by always invading through the catch-up mechanic. So yes, they have to fix that. But I hope this was helpful. And you can send it to the devs and say, this is how you fix Gambit, and maybe they'll implement my suggestions. They don't even have to give me credit for it. They're gonna leave the Gambit mode in the game, so it might as well be playable, right? Because we did buy it, we are paying for it. But yeah, that's what I've got. So everybody, thanks for listening. If you do like the video, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see what I can do as far as sharing more of my suggestions. Okay, everybody, take care.